Today, in this video, I would like to go over 25 verbs in English that you probably haven't learned yet. We will have an example sentence for each verb. We'll go over 4 different conjugations of each verb. Hopefully, this will help you to expand your English vocabulary. Let's get started. Flash. Flash. The television screen will flash when the cable is loose. The television screen will flash when the cable is loose. The television screen flashes when the cable is loose. The television screen flashes when the cable is loose. The television screen flashed when the cable was loose. The television screen flashed when the cable was loose. The television screen had flashed when the cable was loose. The television screen had flashed when the cable was loose. Secure. Secure. The security guard will secure the bank before he leaves. The security guard will secure the bank before he leaves. The security guard secures the bank before he leaves. The security guard secures the bank before he leaves. The security guard secured the bank before he left. The security guard secured the bank before he left. The security guard had secured the bank before he left. The security guard had secured the bank before he left. Ban. Ban. All primary schools in this district will ban the students from eating sweets. All primary schools in this district will ban the students from eating sweets. All primary schools in this district ban the students from eating sweets. All primary schools in this district ban the students from eating sweets. All primary schools in this district banned the students from eating sweets. All primary schools in this district banned the students from eating sweets. All primary schools in this district have banned the students from eating sweets. All primary schools in this district have banned the students from eating sweets. Apologize. Apologize. They said that they will apologize for the inconvenience. They said that they will apologize for the inconvenience. They said that they apologize for the inconvenience. They said that they apologize for the inconvenience. They said that they apologized for the inconvenience. They said that they apologized for the inconvenience. They said that they have apologized for the inconvenience. They said that they have apologized for the inconvenience. Acquit. Acquit. The judge will acquit Billy for the crimes of which he was accused. The judge will acquit Billy for the crimes of which he was accused. The judge is acquitting Billy for the crimes of which he was accused. The judge is acquitting Billy for the crimes of which he was accused. The judge acquitted Billy for the crimes of which he was accused. The judge acquitted Billy for the crimes of which he was accused. The judge has acquitted Billy for the crimes of which he was accused. The judge has acquitted Billy for the crimes of which he was accused. Procrastinate. Procrastinate. Valerie will procrastinate doing the work until the last day. Valerie will procrastinate doing the work until the last day. Valerie procrastinates doing the work until the last day. Valerie procrastinates doing the work until the last day. Valerie procrastinated doing the work until the last day. Valerie procrastinated doing the work until the last day. Valerie had procrastinated doing the work until the last day. Valerie had procrastinated doing the work until the last day. Glance. Glance. The director will glance at the paper as he gives his speech. The director will glance at the paper as he gives his speech. The director glances at the paper as he gives his speech. The director glances at the paper as he gives his speech. The director glanced at the paper as he gave his speech. The director glanced at the paper as he gave his speech. The director had glanced at the paper as he gave his speech. The director had glanced at the paper as he gave his speech. Reply. Reply. The company will reply to all emails within 30 minutes. The company will reply to all emails within 30 minutes. The company replies to all emails within 30 minutes. The company replies to all emails within 30 minutes. The company replied to all emails within 30 minutes. The company replied to all emails within 30 minutes. The company had replied to all emails within 30 minutes. The company had replied to all emails within 30 minutes. Assess. Assess. The fireman will assess the attic to check for unsafe conditions. The fireman will assess the attic to check for unsafe conditions. The firemen are assessing the attic to check for unsafe conditions. The firemen are assessing the attic to check for unsafe conditions. The firemen assessed the attic to check for unsafe conditions. The firemen assessed the attic to check for unsafe conditions. The firemen have assessed the attic to check for unsafe conditions. The firemen have assessed the attic to check for unsafe conditions. Absorb. Absorb. The sponge will absorb the excess fluids. The sponge will absorb the excess fluids. The sponge absorbs the excess fluids. The sponge absorbs the excess fluids. The sponge absorbed the excess fluids. The sponge absorbed the excess fluids. The sponge has absorbed the excess fluids. The sponge has absorbed the excess fluids. Roam. Roam. My dog will roam through the forest and then come back home. My dog will roam through the forest and then come back home. My dog roams through the forest and then comes back home. My dog roams through the forest and then comes back home. My dog roamed through the forest and then came back home. My dog roamed through the forest and then came back home. My dog had roamed through the forest and then came back home. My dog had roamed through the forest and then came back home. Adapt. Adapt. The frog will adapt to his new environment in the rainforest. The frog will adapt to his new environment in the rainforest. The frog adapts to his new environment in the rainforest. The frog adapts to his new environment in the rainforest. The frog adapted to his new environment in the rainforest. The frog adapted to his new environment in the rainforest. The frog has adapted to his new environment in the rainforest. The frog has adapted to his new environment in the rainforest. Recall. Recall. Amazingly, he will recall all of the phone numbers accurately. Amazingly, he will recall all of the phone numbers accurately. Amazingly, he recalls all of the phone numbers accurately. Amazingly, he recalls all of the phone numbers accurately. Amazingly, he recalled all of the phone numbers accurately. Amazingly, he recalled all of the phone numbers accurately. Amazingly, he has recalled all of the phone numbers accurately. Amazingly, he has recalled all of the phone numbers accurately. Bar. Bar. They will bar anyone who is under 18 from entering the party. They will bar anyone who is under 18 from entering the party. They are barring anyone who is under 18 from entering the party. They are barring anyone who is under 18 from entering the party. They barred anyone who is under 18 from entering the party. They barred anyone who is under 18 from entering the party. They have barred anyone who is under 18 from entering the party. They have barred anyone who is under 18 from entering the party. Adjust. Adjust. The boy will adjust to the new lifestyle in New York. The boy will adjust to the new lifestyle in New York. The boy is adjusting to the new lifestyle in New York. The boy is adjusting to the new lifestyle in New York. The boy adjusted to the new lifestyle in New York. The boy adjusted to the new lifestyle in New York. The boy has adjusted to the new lifestyle in New York. The boy has adjusted to the new lifestyle in New York. Observe. Observe. The United States will observe that day as a national holiday. The United States will observe that day as a national holiday. The United States observes that day as a national holiday. The United States observes that day as a national holiday. The United States observed that day as a national holiday. The United States observed that day as a national holiday. The United States has observed that day as a national holiday. The United States has observed that day as a national holiday. Protrude. Protrude. The lump on the lion's leg will protrude more with each passing month. The lump on the lion's leg will protrude more with each passing month. The lump on the lion's leg protrudes more with each passing month. The lump on the lion's leg protrudes more with each passing month. The lump on the lion's leg protruded more with each passing month. The lump on the lion's leg protruded more with each passing month. The lump on the lion's leg had protruded more with each passing month. The lump on the lion's leg had protruded more with each passing month. Fling, fling. He will fling the boomerang as hard as he can and will wait for it to come back. He will fling the boomerang as hard as he can and will wait for it to come back. He flings the boomerang as hard as he can and waits for it to come back. He flings the boomerang as hard as he can and waits for it to come back. He flung the boomerang as hard as he could and waited for it to come back. He flung the boomerang as hard as he could and waited for it to come back. He had flung the boomerang as hard as he could and waited for it to come back. He had flung the boomerang as hard as he could and waited for it to come back. Notify, notify. The doctor will notify the DMV whenever someone has a stroke. The doctor will notify the DMV whenever someone has a stroke. The doctor notifies the DMV whenever someone has a stroke. The doctor notifies the DMV whenever someone has a stroke. The doctor notified the DMV whenever someone had a stroke. The doctor notified the DMV whenever someone had a stroke. The doctor has notified the DMV whenever someone had a stroke. The doctor has notified the DMV whenever someone had a stroke. Stiffen, stiffen. The gelatin will stiffen when it gets cold. The gelatin will stiffen when it gets cold. The gelatin stiffens when it gets cold. The gelatin stiffens when it gets cold. The gelatin stiffened when it got cold. The gelatin stiffened when it got cold. The gelatin had stiffened when it got cold. The gelatin had stiffened when it got cold. Bear, bear. He will bear in mind that the journey is very dangerous. He will bear in mind that the journey is very dangerous. He is bearing in mind that the journey is very dangerous. He is bearing in mind that the journey is very dangerous. He bore in mind that the journey was very dangerous. He bore in mind that the journey was very dangerous. He had borne in mind that the journey was very dangerous. He had borne in mind that the journey was very dangerous. Mediate, mediate. The arbitrator will mediate between the employer and the employees regarding legal disputes. The arbitrator will mediate between the employer and the employees regarding legal disputes. The arbitrator mediates between the employer and the employees regarding legal disputes. The arbitrator mediates between the employer and the employees regarding legal disputes. The arbitrator mediated between the employer and the employees regarding legal disputes. The arbitrator mediated between the employer and the employees regarding legal disputes. The arbitrator had mediated between the employer and the employees regarding legal disputes. The arbitrator had mediated between the employer and the employees regarding legal disputes. Pinch, pinch. I think the door handle will pinch your fingers. I think the door handle will pinch your fingers. I think the door handle pinches your fingers. I think the door handle pinches your fingers. I think the door handle pinched your fingers. I think the door handle pinched your fingers. I think the door handle has pinched your fingers. I think the door handle has pinched your fingers. Acknowledge, acknowledge. The event organizer will acknowledge the business sponsors. The event organizer will acknowledge the business sponsors. The event organizer is acknowledging the business sponsors. The event organizer is acknowledging the business sponsors. The event organizer acknowledged the business sponsors. The event organizer acknowledged the business sponsors. The event organizer has acknowledged the business sponsors. The event organizer has acknowledged the business sponsors. Remain. Remain. All of the information that you have provided will remain private. All of the information that you have provided will remain private. All of the information that you have provided remains private. All of the information that you have provided remains private. All of the information that you have provided remained private. All of the information that you have provided remained private. All of the information that you have provided has remained private. All of the information that you have provided has remained private. Do me a favor and subscribe to our channel if you like this video. Give our video a thumbs up to show us that all the work that we are putting towards our videos is something that you like. Thanks so much for watching and see you all soon. Ciao!